Dear students, today we'll be reading about the animal tissue, right? We'll be reading about the animal tissue. In the previous videos, we have already talked about the plant tissues. Plant tissues means the group of cells that combine together and give rise to a structure that is called tissue. And those cells which combine, they are similar in structure, function, location, shape, size, structure, all this, right? And they together give rise to a new structure that is called tissue. About the plant tissue we have already read, right? Now in this video we will be talking about the tissues that make the animal body. When I say animal include we human beings, all the stray animals that you see, the dog, cat, the rat, the birds you see, all the moving animals, snakes, crocodile, lizards, pigeon, all these animals, right? So what kind of tissues make the body of animals, right? So here in this video we will, for the sake of study, we'll talk about the animal tissues, right? Animal tissues, when we study under four heads in four different groups. The first kind is epithelial tissue. The first kind is epithelial tissue. This is the first kind. What is the second kind? The second kind is the connective tissue. And what is the third kind? The third kind of tissue that make the animal body is the muscular tissue, and the fourth kind is the nervous tissue, right? Clear? So animal body is basically made up of epithelial tissue, connective tissues, muscular tissues, and nervous tissue. When you talk for layman, what is this body made up of? We'll say is made up of bone and flesh. So this bone and flesh, as a student of biology, when you go into it, you will see this flesh, this bone, these are made up of different kinds of tissues that we recognize for the sake of studies. As regards their function, we distinguish between the tissues based on their structure and function, right? So what is epithelial? As you see the name epithelial, here these first three words make the word E-P-I. Epi meaning surface. Epi meaning surface. So all the tissues that are located or found on the surface of any part, any body part. Suppose I touch the surface of my lower arm. Now I'm moving my fingers on the surface of my lower arm. Can you see? So this surface of my lower arm is made up of epithelial tissue surface, right? Now you see I'm touching the surface of my cheek, so this is made up of epithelial tissue, right? If I touch this inner surface, this is also epithelial tissue. Inside the nostrils, the inner layer surface is epithelial tissue. So where will you find the epithelial tissue? Epi meaning surface, right? So epithelial tissue is the tissue, all the tissues that make the surface of our body parts. Surface of this hand, this lower arm is epithelial tissue. Inside the nostrils, epithelial tissue, right? This eyelid surface, epithelial tissue, right? Inside the stomach, inner epithelial tissue, right? The surface of lungs, epithelial tissue. Surface of heart, epithelial tissue. Lining of the small intestine, the upper and inner lining, epithelial tissue. So epithelial, epi meaning surface. So all the tissues that make the surface of the body parts, they are called or grouped as epithelial tissue, right? Then second kind of animal tissue that we see, they are connective tissue. As you see the name connect, Can you see? Connect means to join, right? Connect means to join, right? So all the tissues that are present in between two body parts, maybe organs, maybe the tissues, maybe the cells, all that are present in between two. Suppose you see this one is my finger, this thumb, this is pointer finger, this is thumb. Now where is the pen? You see the pen's position is in between this pointer finger and the thumb. So this pen, that is the marker in between my finger, is the position of the connective tissue, because this marker is joining the pointer finger and the thumb together. Do you follow? So this is connecting the pointer finger and the thumb. So this pen, this type of work, who is doing? The connective tissue does the work of connecting two body parts. These connective tissues are further classified for the sake of better studies. We will take them or pick these topics in the next video. The third kind of tissue that makes a body is the muscular tissue. You are very well familiar about the muscles. Muscles are such type of tissues that are generally attached to the bones or skeletal system of our body, and they help us facilitate various kinds of movements. I am just moving my fist. You can see this movement is facilitated because of the existence of muscles in my hand, right? I am raising my hand, I am dropping my hand, I am bidding bye to my friend, I am calling my friend, I am pointing at something, I am slapping, I am picking something. All these actions are possible because of existence of these muscular tissues, right? So muscular tissues are such tissues in our body, and they are generally associated with different organs of our body and help facilitate different kinds of movement in our body. It may be movement or it may be locomotion. Locomotion and movement you should not confuse. Movement is just moving the body with regard to the axis of the body, right? With regard, suppose there is one axis. If you insert one pin, one long rod from the top head to the bottom, this line, with respect to this line, whatever change in position of the body parts, that is movement. But if the body with respect to the surrounding is changing its position, that is called locomotion. Locomotion means going from one place to another place, right? We walk, our walking is a locomotion. The birds fly, that is locomotion, right? You may have seen the fish swimming in water, right? This swimming of the fish in water is locomotion. But if you are scratching here under your ear, this is not locomotion. What is this? This is movement, because this movement is as regards or with respect to the body axis. Clear? You are moving your hand. This is not locomotion. I asked, raise your hands. Those who have followed me, you raise your hand. This raising is movement. But if I say, come here, come to me, you are leaving your place, coming to me, that is locomotion. All this movement and locomotion in the animals is facilitated only because of these muscular tissues. These muscular tissues, they may be associated with the skeletal system, or sometimes they are without skeletal systems also. They exist on their own, right? So muscular tissues are such tissues which help facilitate different kinds of movement as well as locomotion in the living body of an animal. And the last kind of tissue that we have to read is nervous tissue. These nerves are responsible for our sensation, our feeling, our abstract aspects. We feel hotness is because of nervous tissue. We feel cold is because of nervous tissue. We feel pain is because of nervous tissue. We become joyous is because of nervous tissue. We recognize something. This something in between my fingers is the marker. This recognition of this particular material is because of nervous tissue. Do you follow? So nervous tissue, they are made up of different kinds of nerves, right? And their differentiation is based on the kind of functions they carry out in our body. Do you follow? One of these nerve cells, they sense the stimulus. Stimulus is something that occurs and causes us or make us to give a response to. If I say stand up, you stand up. My word stand up that I spelled from my mouth made you stand at your place. This word spelled from my mouth is the stimulus that is causing you. Suppose you happen to touch a hot object and immediately you withdraw your hand. You touched it, that is touching, going and touching, muscle cells work. But when you touched, you felt something hotness. That feeling hotness is because of nervous tissue. And bringing back is because of muscular tissue. But who directed the muscles to withdraw the hand is nervous tissue. Is that clear to all of you? So, dear students, all the animals, their body is made up of four different kinds of tissues. The first one is epithelial tissue, the second one is connective tissue, the third one is muscular tissue, and the fourth one is nervous tissue. Epithelial, as I have told you, epi meaning the surface. You must remember this epi. You may have heard this word epicenter at times of earthquakes. Where was the epicenter? Means where was the effect of this earthquake on the surface of the earth, right? So we say so and so place, right? I don't want to take the name of a particular place. Doesn't feel good. It's not good that some place is hit by an earthquake, right? So see, epi meaning surface, right? So epithelial tissues, the epithelial picket, right? A structure, a bunch, a group of, right? So epithelial tissues make the surface of different body parts, different organs, and such tissues are epithelial tissues. Second kind is connecting, that connects two different body parts. Means they are generally present in between two body parts. Suppose a heart is there and lungs. In between heart and lungs, there is a packing of tissue that is the connective tissue, right? Okay. The third kind is muscular tissues. I have told you the muscles help in facilitating the movement and location, and they may be skeletal also, and they may be independent or may not be associated with our skeletal system. The fourth kind of the tissue is the nervous tissue, that is made up of different kinds of nerves, and they are responsible for sensing and responding to the stimulus. I have already told you what is stimulus. Stimulus is an activity, it may be a thought, it may be an object, it may be an activity that makes you give response. Suppose while you are going on or in front of your door a dog is seated, or a dog is sitting there near your house, and you just bend to pick a stone and raise your hand as if you are going to throw that stone on the dog will rise and run away, because that you're raising hand and pretending to throw the stone towards the dog is a stimulus, and that causes the dog to run away from you, not to avoid your hitting, right? Similarly, if you have a bit of chapati or food and you just show it to the dog and call the dog will wave the tail and come towards you. This chapati in your hand is the stimulus for the dog, and that made the dog to come towards you. Similarly, if I say a word stand up, so you stand up at your place, and that is my word is stimulus, and your standing or the answer to my stimulus is, all this is because of nervous system, right? So today, as introductory idea, I have told you about all the four different kinds of animal tissues. In the next video, we'll talk about the individual, we'll pick the individual topics and discuss. Thank you, take care, good day.